Is my microphone on? Okay. Today I'm going to be talking about the visualization of the energy consumption data for the Watt Family Innovation Center. Before I do that, I want to introduce myself. There we go. My name is Bailey Meyer. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington, and I moved to Salt Lake City, Utah to attend Westminster College, where I'm in my last year of my undergraduate degree. I study mathematics and data science, and my interest in visualization is being able to do data analysis and really explain large data sets to people that don't have backgrounds like this. The overview of what I'll be talking about today starts off with an explanation of why we chose to analyze the energy consumption for this building. And then I'll go through some of the findings that we discovered throughout this process. The first being the current reduction costs in the lighting that is used in this building, the possible reduction costs if we can turn off the media lights, the relationship between HVAC power and outside temperature, along with the correlation between receptacle power and occupancy. And then I'll just go through what we can use this information for in the future. So first of all, the reason why we chose to analyze this building is because it was built as an innovation center. And what that means is that it strives to have as much new technology as possible, but some of that technology isn't as energy efficient as we would like. This building is also set up with meters on every floor that read the energy every 15 minutes for the following 5 categories. The lighting, which is broken down into overhead lighting and the media lights, the HVAC power, receptacle, which is the white outlets all around the building, isolated ground, which is the data hubs in the basement and on the first floor, and then the emergency power. So we took all of this data and put it into one common visualization tool, which is SAS Visual Analytics, which is this screen over here. So the first relationship that we looked at is how much is being saved by using LED lights with motion and ambient light sensors. If this building just had fluorescent lights and no sensors, it would cost about $26,000 a year to run the overhead lights. And if we didn't have the sensors, which are the motion sensors and the ambient light sensors that can dim the light according to how much natural light is entering, if we didn't have those sensors, it would cost about $11,000 a year for overhead lighting utility costs. But because we have both LED lighting and the sensors, the cost for this building is only about $3,600 every year. And to run a building of this size, that's fairly cheap. And the reason why that is because we only pay 4 cents per kilowatt hour. And just to put that in perspective, most homeowners pay about 12 cents per kilowatt hour. The reason why that's so cheap is because Clemson creates some of its own energy that they can sell back to reduce their personal costs. This bar graph over here shows the difference in cost between what we currently have in gray and what it would cost if we didn't have the sensors. The next item that we looked into is if we were able to turn off the media lights. The media lights outside are traditionally used for accent lighting, and this is the largest media display in North America. It came with something that we didn't know, though, and that it can't be turned off and that it has a minimum consumption usage of 10 kilowatts per hour. If we're able to turn this off, we'd assume it would be off from midnight to 6 a.m. and then all throughout the weekend. And just by doing this, we could save about $4,000 annually in costs. And that does not include the cost that we could save through cooling the HVAC, the rooms that run the media lights that have to be cooled through the HVAC system. The first relationship that we explored was HVAC power and outside temperature. This scatter plot above shows a moderate linear relationship between the two. And what that means is that the HVAC system is already partially aligned with the outside temperature. And so if you look at a time series of the HVAC power in blue and the outside temperature in red, you can see that they're semi-aligned. But looking at it over this amount of time doesn't show you that much. If you zoom in to about a week, you can really see how well the patterns align. Again, the HVAC's in blue, and anytime that they don't align, the building enters a non-occupied mode, such as during the weekend, to save more energy. We then decided to look at the correlation between occupancy of the building and receptacle usage. There we go. Occupancy data is already collected by Watt Center, and it's collected from 3 until midnight during the school year and from 9 to 5 during the summer. When looking at the entire building, we saw that there was a strong correlation with an R-squared value of 0.56. But we wanted to explore more to see if each floor had a stronger correlation than the entire building. If you look at the first floor, there's an R-squared value of 0.45, which is actually the lowest correlation in the building. And the reason why that is because of the cafe, which has freezers and vending machines that are on all the time. The second floor has the strongest relationship with an R-squared value of 0.64. The reason why that's so strong is because the second floor is mainly just study rooms and classrooms. So if you walk into your classroom, you immediately plug in your laptop. And then the third floor also has a strong relationship with an R-squared value of 0.58. The reason why we're looking at this is because there's a hope to reduce the utility costs in the future. And just by looking at some of the things, we can dramatically reduce the costs already. Another reason why we decided to look into this was to hopefully enable smart building functions in the future. An example of that is to further align the HVAC systems with the outside temperature and potentially the class schedules to get rooms cooling down before a large amount of people enter the room. I would just like to thank Dr. Wally for running the Visualization REU, and a huge shout out to my mentors, Dr. David White and Tim Howard, along with a thank you to SAS Visual Analytics.